Hey guys, Bicebump here, bringing you another Dragonflight Frost video. Today we're taking a look at the 24 Court of Stars Fortified, which I ran with my two-hander Obliteration build. I feel like, honestly, people underestimate how good Frost DK can be, and specifically Obliteration, because, you know, there are several dungeons where the Frost DK Cleave Kit really fits well, and Court of Stars is one of them. Quite a lot of pulls with like 3-4 targets. You know, Frost excels in that kind of scenario and will pump out damage overall. I think my overall here is around 105k or around that point. We're gonna have a look at the end of the dungeon, but like just the sheer amount of damage you can do is just really quite good. I am running my kind of standard, Frostwind's Fury build here. Got it up in the corner, right? We pick up Frostwind's Fury because every 3 minutes we can time it with our Posser box and just get that huge buff for the Frostworm. This is quite good in Court of Stars, for instance. The Imps is a great opportunity to use it on, you know, especially in high fortified. The Imps are really quite dangerous, and we need to be careful about how we approach them, essentially. Other than that, there's not that much we're gonna change around here. You know, I'm picking up, I can't remember the proper name here, but the one that makes you a bit more tanky when you press Lichborn. But like generally, this build is where I run like the absolute majority of the time, right? You can pick it up, run it everywhere. When it comes to trinkets, Posser box is quite important. I think the 3-minute cooldown window, as I said, is really solid. And then you want some passive trinket to pair that with. I'm actually running, there's this jewel crafting trinket that gives you haste, which I'm currently running. Essentially, I don't have many options when it comes to trinkets, so I just pick up something that was, you know, looked like an upgrade. So that might look a bit off to you, but that's why I'm running it, and it felt good, you know. However, unfortunately, feeling good is not the same as being good, so who knows if it was actually better. If I could, I would run Icon here, or Hunger the Pack. I think both those are solid options. For stats, you see I'm running an absolute ton of haste. Generally, I would run a roughly an equal amount of haste, mastery, and crit. If you want a bit more single target, you run a bit more haste. That's kind of the vibe, but I see it, yeah, I have quite balanced stats here. We've got a 4k haste, 4k mastery, and a 3.3k crit, which is largely due to the fact that I'm running the corruption flask, the vial there. Alright, Reinforged, Fallen Crusade as always, you know, that's pretty much it. Now, let's talk about, so what's the rotation here? How do we deal these chunky oblits and maximize our damage? It's all about leveraging your Pillar Frost window in conjunction with Deafening K. That's where like all your damage comes from. So the idea is to essentially generate and consume as many Killing Machine Oblit cleaves as possible, right? That's the whole game with this, and that's like your primary way of, you know, dealing large amount of damage. To do that, generally, right, we're going to focus on our Obliteration windows, and it's going to look something along these lines, right? You're going to pop your pillar, follow up with either Glacial Advance or Howling Blast to trigger your Killing Machine proc. You then press Deafening K. This is important, right? Deafening K comes to GCD after to get that full Deafening K overlap. You know, it lasts for 10 seconds, pillar 12. So you use it 1 GCD after you press pillar, and then that turns out well, right? After this point, you're just going to consume and generate as many procs of Killing Machine as possible, right? That's the whole game. So if you have a Killing Machine proc, spend it. If you don't, generate one, right? When it comes to Rime versus Glacial Advance, you know, generally, if it's a huge pool, you should prioritize Glacial Advance. Otherwise, you prioritize Glacial Advance when you need to keep up your Unholy Strength. What's that called? Enduring Strength, sorry. And then, other than that, you can press Howling Blast whenever you have a Rime, right? That's the Rime versus Glacial Advance priority. And if you don't have Rime proc, you're just going to use, what's it called? Your Glacial Advance. Here you see, I have a Posser box window, right? really big frost form now. You know, ideally use the frost form towards the end of your obliteration, your pillar window, sorry, where you've stacked up that haste as much as possible. Sorry, stacked up the strength. You know, when you spend runes in pillar, it gives you more strength, which means that a build becomes more powerful at the end, which is why you see like the bigger blitz coming at the end of the pillar window, but also the reason why we want to use, for instance, Frosting's Fury there towards the end. All right, we'll have a bit of a messy pull here. Gonna try and see if we can, you know, bring it back. I use all my cooldowns here defensive, so I don't die. And then we can go into another pillar window. Anyway, that's the idea. Another point is that we want to use all our other spells before we go into the pillar window. That's very important. For instance, Remorseless Winter, use it before the pillar window. Abomination Limb, before the pillar window. Right, very important. Also, ideally, you want to use a power rune weapon before. Not specifically because it's a way to use in the window, just that it's a good idea to use it before, so it kind of stacks up some resources beforehand. And you will also get full overlap. And power rune weapon is 20 seconds, pillar is 12. So you can use it quite a lot beforehand and still get full overlap on the buff. Yeah? When it comes to actually using cooldowns, just send them, right? Use them as much as possible in a key. We have such a short cooldown window, right? Pillar Frost is generally around 45 seconds-ish, which means that you really want to press it ASAP on cooldown all the time, so you can leverage that cleave. All right, great. So that's the rotation, right? Might sound simple, but I think it's honestly quite difficult. There's a lot of reactions going on. For instance, in your pillar window, if you get a natural killing machine procs, you want to react to that and press your obliterate so you don't overlap a killing machine generation. That's a bad thing. A final note, when you're outside of your first pillar window, right, you have a second FNK you can actually leverage. I hold that FNK until I get a natural killing machine proc, so I get at least one good kind of killing machine hit in the window. All right, so that's the rotation. Yeah, you will see me. You see me playing up here. You have, this is a details plugin that shows you the buttons I've been pressing, so you can follow along when I play. And now I'll also do commentary for the rest of the video, right? We will time this key, okay? Won't be an issue. And I've said I will end up above 100k overall. I'm currently at 140, so I would say we are doing quite well so far. For the single target rotation, there's not much to it, like similar to the AoE one, but you just press Frost Strike generally. You can see me here, I initiate the boss. I use all my cooldowns before my pillar window. I didn't have it ready either. Before I actually go into my pillar window, I make sure to consume my killing machine proc. I do that because I essentially, if I go into the pillar window with a killing machine proc, I will generate one less generally overall. So you will essentially waste a killing machine generation if you don't spend that killing machine proc before the window. That's the general idea. You will see me, I do Glacial Advance in single target. Like when I'm away from the boss, I will Glacial Advance as a way of like using a ranged runic power spender. Also, at the start of the fight, I will use Glacial Advance to stack up my Race Rat stacks on the boss. But after I've stacked them up, I won't use it anymore. You can see there, I did delay my pillar window slightly to make sure that I could press my Remorseless Winter before going into that pillar window. This is important, otherwise you end up delaying your Remorseless Winter for like 12 seconds, which is not ideal. For this boss, we have Arcane Lockdown. We're going to use our AMS quite a lot to avoid that as much as possible. I didn't do that there. I could have, and I should have, right? You can see it's quite fast paced. We've got another Pillar Frost window coming up, right? A good idea, right, before your pillar window is to consume runic power, right? You don't want to end up in a situation where you are starving in your pillar window because you didn't have enough runes to start with. So as a general kind of guidance, before your pillar window, if you just make sure to prioritize your Frost Strike, it will help you because that's passively going to generate runes, and make sure that you enter your pillar window with enough runes to kind of make it flow. That's the idea. Alright, boss about to 25% health. You can see there I do, you know, lots of people say that Frost TK doesn't do that good single target. You know, I feel like it's kind of fine. I do roughly the same amount as my peers here, but I do also get PI. So it's generally slightly lower than other classes, but we make up for it in AoE. Right? That's a bit of a oof moment there. The construct used his tank kind of AoE thing, and he ran into Claire and just murdered the entire party. So unfortunate, but we will be able to recuperate from this. You might have noticed I made a mistake for this specific pool. I didn't use my Obliteration limb before my pillar window, right? Which ended up detrimental to me because I couldn't then use it into my pillar window, and I lost a lot of damage due to it. That's fine though. We are just gonna go in and do a Oblit cleave here. Man, it feels so good to play Frost TK. Honestly, it's like one. I do love Unholy, but to go in with Frost TK and just do some smashing blitz, you know, I like it. Not too bad, not too bad. All right, we're just gonna pull this over so we can move on with the dungeon. Let's see. We can see I have Puzzle Box and my Frostwind ready, so I'm going to try and use them at my earliest convenience, which will probably be the first pack when you come out of here. We also want to, I'm not sure if I actually save it, because we have the imps as well, right? And it's a good idea to save it for the imps, both because, you know, it inflates you overall, which is, you know, fun, but also because the imps are dangerous. They can definitely be a cause for wipe. And we did a 25 before this point, where we did wipe on the imps. So you might think that I'm just padding, but it's actually crucial that we deal with that properly. Alright, yeah, so I know that we're going to need that Frostworm, so I'm saving it for those ads. Alright, you can see Breath is, or Obliteration, quite nice, because you enter your burst very quickly. It's like 2 GCDs and you're right into doing like your max DPS, so that is very useful. All right, we're going to do the imps. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to precast Puzzle Box, right, and then I'm going to try and use my pillar at some point, and then just send my Frostworm to kill them ASAP. And I have Blinding Sleet, so I'm going to use that for my second one. Here we go. We've got Puzzle. We got them coming, right? Dot them up. Use our cooldowns. We have pillar coming down, and then I can use Frostworm out. There we go. And we had 400k DPS. It's so bursty, man. And you can see it's difficult. Like, we don't have AoE stuns in this group. If you have, it's much easier. But for us, we kind of have to deal with using like blinds and stops instead. And makes it more dangerous. Alright, now we're going to do this Enforcer pull where we use Bloodlust. I'm going to target the Inquisitor. Like, his Ice Storm is dangerous, so we want to interrupt that. We do that with Grip. I stand in the first detonation of the Enforcer. You can just AMS that, and it just, you know, immunes the dot. We have my pillar coming up soon, so I'm going to press Empowered Wound Weapon here. You can see that I did it before pillar, and then I go into a chunky Obliteration. We've got proc there from this 2 set, which is nice. It's a 4 set actually. Right, and we've got some nice cleaves there. Yeah, I'm not sure. Is there any other class in the game that can do as much burst on 3 targets than 2-hand Obliteration? I'm not sure. Like, that is, we have such good cleave capability in that specific scenario. I've seen, you know, I ran a live pool the other day, no external buffs or anything. 320k blitz, you know, 3 of those, that's 1 million each ECD, and I think I got 2 of them, so it was quite good. I don't think my highest crit is that high in this Court of Stars, but there are definitely scenarios where you can crit extremely high. And it's going to be even better next patch, you know. I honestly believe Frost is going to be like, you know, solid. I would rate it currently in Myth class A-, you know. It's not meta, but it's still solid damage, you know. Temp on Open 7. I don't know, A+ maybe. We'll see. I'm excited for it at least. It's going to be fun to play some nice Blitz. And I think the playstyle is going to be different as well. It's going to be much more, if you guys play machine gun, where you kind of, you're sending procs all over the place, it's going to be more similar to that, because the fact that you can stack obliterates, right? Or killing machine, sorry, means that you don't need to be as adamant about this whole, weaving business. Still, it's what you gonna try to do, but you will be much less punished if you mess it up, which is nice. For instance, there, I think I overlapped a killing machine generation in 10.0.7. That's just gonna give me another stack, which I can then consume later. It's just great. It's such a good change. I think it's gonna feel great to play, and it's gonna be really chunky. All right, we're just dealing with this mini boss here. The timer looks fine, right? As I said, we will have time to finish this overall. Yeah, we're 16 minutes down. It's kind of chill. I think you need a roughly 10 minutes ish, between 8 and 10 minutes to deal with the last two bosses and the mini boss. All right, we're preparing for the imps as well. You can see, I have my Puzzle and Frostworm again, which is quite nice. This is going to inflate my DPS, but again, it is good for the group because we would otherwise have a risk of wiping here. Alright, we just send our pillar, get that nice buff going, do some Oblit cleaves, and then we'll send our Frostworm. And we do 500k. There we go. So that's efficiently dealt with. And we're able to chain this into the next pool, which is quite nice. So you can kind of keep some of the buffs you used in the previous one. So I, for instance, could chain my puzzle box and things like that. Alright, we're going to kill Inquisitor again. Make sure we interrupt the Ice Storm. Alright, we're going to LOS the Fell Detonation. Means that you don't get it. I'm just running around there on the side of the whatever that is. Yeah. Another detonation. I think we're just going to eat this one. Like, it doesn't one-shot you, so you can just AMS. You can Death Strike yourself up to full, you know. We've got another one. I have to dodge this one. Right. And we're soon about to kill this guy. And we're going to move on to the next mini-boss. There we go. I can use AMS for this one. A bit dangerous though, because at 30%, right, it enrages. So obviously you soothe the enrage as quickly as possible. But if everyone else is LOSing and you're standing there and it enrages and you eat that to the face, you will die even with AMS, I think. Alright, we got pillar ready, but boss is like 5%, so I'm going to save that for when the mini boss shows up. You might see me play, I'm not sure if you noticed, but pillar sending frost whelps, right? It's very important to be mindful of that, especially with Court Stars, because you can ninja pull a lot. So the idea is generally, whenever you engage a pack, you go in and then you face the direction you were coming from. That's like the best tip I can give. That gives you the lowest chance of ninja pulling anything. Alright, we're just chunking away with our blitz there. It's a bit shame, you know, getting the thundering buff in your pillar window feels so good. That's when you can get those 300k blitz if you're lucky. You're going to clear that up. What you can do in this one is that you can pre-AMS the impending doom. That just ignores the application. Like, I could have used AMS earlier there, it would have immuned it, and we would have gotten a single one, which is much easier for the healer to deal with. So that's something I should have thought about. Alright, we're still at 114k overall, doing our best to keep that number high, make sure we clear the dungeon as quickly as possible. Alright, I'm just sharing my talents there to the stream, I think. Alright, we've got another puzzle box there. We use that to do some good priority single target. I don't know if it helps, but when he jumps like that, I always try to jump after him to hit my obliterate midair. I'm not sure if it actually gives more range, but who knows. Alright, so my frost swim here, I missed it. It should have been used after my pillar. The thing is, right, you don't use it in pillar generally unless it's AoE. There we go. Too late. My puzzle box was already over. The reason is that like a killing machine generation or consumption in pillar is more single target than a Frostwing Fury in pillar. So that's why we kind of use it after. You can see here I starved during my obliteration window. It meant that I didn't properly save up resources for it, and I was also a bit unlucky with procs. It happens, right? Generally something you want to avoid, of course. You don't want to sit in your pillar, have a killing machine proc and not being able to use it. But it will happen even if you you know, save runes and whatever before it. But follow my trick from before. Spend your rune power before you go into your pillar. That's the idea. Well, we're going to deal with this boss. This is actually going to turn out quite difficult. I'm not sure why, but I dealt by far the most damage here for some reason. We're just sending our cooldowns here. What we're going to do in this boss is pre-use Deafening K before the ad spawn. Right? We don't want to spend a GCD doing that when they have actually showed up. And then we're also going to make sure we have, or try to have, Remorseless Winter for them. You can see here I managed to extend my Remorseless Winter. You know, Gathering Storm stacks up on Remorseless Winter, extends its duration and increases damage. What you can do is that you can increase it to such a degree that you can then use it again, keep the damage increase stacks, right? But refresh the 10-second duration, which is like a huge DPS upgrade. And you want to try to do that as much as possible. This certain expansion though, it's difficult. We don't really have the stats for it. You need a lot of haste, you need a lot of crit to be able to do that properly. So you're just going to do your best, but you know, not going to work every time. You can see I tried to use I got my Blit Cleave going, use Glacial Advance. I'm going to use Blinding Sleet to interrupt them. You can see we are struggling a little bit, so I'm also going to manually interrupt some of them, and I'm not too sure why. I think the maybe my fellow DPSs are prioritizing different things. Oh well, we are blasting. We got another good chunky blip window. Unfortunately, we had to rest in the middle of it, which is not ideal, but we can't really control that. We have Posture Box there. We're going to use that as soon as possible, because the boss is quite difficult at the moment. Even though, you know, ideally you should time it while it cooldowns, but I felt like at this point, you know, boss is about to die. I just want to make sure I kill it as quickly as possible. I'm going to use AMS here. Aim Z is quite good, specifically for this boss, because the intaking damage is quite high. But we'll deal with it. I end up at 125k overall. I think that is specifically because the other DPSs didn't do that much ad damage. If they had been, like, if you were playing with a class that deals more burst AoE, I wouldn't have been nearly as high. But, oh well. We're going to quickly do this event, right? You go in, you talk to all the people that give you hints, right? And then you find the one that satisfies all the constraints. You can see we have 6 minutes left, which is going to be a sufficient amount. I think we're going to send Bloodlust on the mini-boss. The thing is that mini-boss, he heals significantly, and he heals more the higher the key, right? He has this Vampiric Claw attack, which heals him based on the damage done. So this has like a double dips on Fortified, because he has more HP, which means it's going to take longer to kill, which means he's going to do more claws, which is going to make him even longer to kill. You can end up with scenarios, right, where it just doesn't die. So what we're going to do here is actually send Bloodlust so that he doesn't have time to heal. It's like a major time gain, because by killing him quickly, you need to actually deal less damage overall than if we were to kill him slowly. Let's see, so are we going to do some ethical padding here? As a Frost DK, what you can do is pop down Deafening K here, and then just chunk down the bat. But I'm not sure, I don't think I'm going to do that. The only thing it does is inflate you overall, so, you know. Oh, there we go. I did it. Oh well, it's one GCD, right? It doesn't matter. It gives me some haste, right? Yeah, as long as you don't do like in your pillar window, like do GCP4 if you're gonna do it to get a bit more haste in it, but it's not worth it. Right, we just managed to kill him before that final Vampiric Claws, which is important. Like he's heals for 10% or something with it. So anyway, we've got 4 minutes to kill the final boss, and no bloodlust of course, but that's no problem on the fortified key. You can see I'm at 109k overall, and I'm going to drop slightly here on this boss, but still the overall is significant. And you can see compared to my mage and druid friend, I'm quite a lot higher. I definitely did the highest kind of AoE damage, obviously inflated it due to the sending Frostwhelm on the ads, those imps, but that's important damage, needs to happen. So overall, happy about it. You can see here, I use Posture Box before my pull, so that I don't, like, you don't want to send it in the middle of your burst, right? It's really, really bad, so use it before your burst aside. It's one of those buttons, like, press this before you use your burst, right? Alright, so we're just vibing here. I should probably be stacking off Glacial Advance. I will, when he runs away, try and use Glacial Advance though to, you know, just deal some extra damage. You're overcapping Runic Power anyway, so it doesn't like hurt to get an extra GCD because it's damage you would have otherwise not done. Alright, we've got another pillar window here. I'm going to pop my Power Rune Weapon, send in my pillar and such. People ask me about macros. Previously I used these macros to like kind of initiate my pillar windows with, you know, Glacial Advance, Frost Strike, and so as quickly as possible. Nowadays I kind of just press pillar and then immediately press the button, and it does the same thing, you know, I don't mind. Here we can use Anti-Magic Shell to run over these little circles on the ground. It clears them without killing me, otherwise they would stun me. Same thing, I use Icebound Fortitude to do it. Just means that it's easier for everyone else. There we go, had a Glacial Advance Ascent. Alright, and now we're just, you know, dealing with the boss. You can see I'm quite a lot higher on single target. I wouldn't be this high if I didn't get PI. It's, you know, a solid upgrade, 5 to 10% in this kind of over a 3-minute fight, I'd say. But still, you know. It is true that Frostika doesn't have as much burst as other classes, but I think it's still, you know, it's not terrible either. And we make up for it with our big AoE capabilities. You can see there, like, he ran away. What I did was I used Glacial Advance to trigger my Killing Machine proc from my Obliteration window, so I could continue, you know, leveraging it. All right, we just dodge the Gales. This is like the perfect way of dealing with this boss. One guy baits all the kind of charges, which means that the Gales end up in a very nice stacked line. And there we go. Boss is dead. Alright. Fortunately, I don't have the breakdown for this. Did it too long ago, but it's going to be around 40% obliterate damage, that kind of thing. Leave a comment down below. What do you think about this? You know, obliteration is viable. Right, go try it out, have some fun with some chunky oblits, right? Upvote, download the video, do consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you very much for watching, bye bye.